Happy Sunday, Dolphins fans. It's battle time. And what do I mean by that? Well, Dolphins OTAs are coming up in just a second. So I want to look at some position battles on this Miami Dolphins depth chart and roster and see what spots are up for grabs on this Dolphins team that is looking to make some improvements and make a deeper run into the postseason from this, or more than they did last year. These are the schedules for the Dolphins OTAs. Week 1 is this week, May 20th and 21st. They have the 22nd off before getting into it on the 23rd. And same type of schedule in Week 2. They start with the 28th and 29th and then take a day off on the 30th. And then the final day of the month, the 31st of May, is the final day of OTAs. And then they're going to come back a week from that on June 4th, 5th, and 6th for mandatory camp. Before we get into the position battles, make sure you are helping us out and share this video. You got friends, you got family out there that are Miami Dolphins fans. Well, the best way to be informed is to be subscribed to the channel, so help them out and share the video. All you do is click the share button, select Twitter/X icon, and then click post to Twitter/X. Be a real one and share today's video. All right, the first position battle I want to take a look at is the wide receiver 4 position. And yeah, this is getting into a little nitty-gritty, if you will, but when you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Odell Beckham Jr., you feel pretty good at where your wide receiver room stands. But I, personally, am very curious to see who is that fourth man up. Is it going to be Malik Washington, the rookie from Virginia, River Craycraft, Braxton Berrios, Eazy-E, Taj Washington, the 7th rounder out of USC? But the only thing that is certain surrounding this wide receiver room is the top 3 guys. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. If you're asking me, it's really either them or the Rams duo of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. But then you have OBJ at wide receiver 3, who you signed a couple weeks ago in NFL free agency post-draft. You have the top wide receiver trio in the NFL. But the fascinating storyline is who gets that wide receiver 4 position. Braxton Berrios and River Craycraft have the advantage after being on the roster last season. Both of them did some nice things in very limited opportunities. But Berrios is, to me, more well-served on the special teams unit. And as the new kickoff rules get set to begin this year, he is going to be even more effective there, which means, well, maybe he isn't on the field on offense as much. That opens up the door for Malik and Taj Washington, the 2 rookies that were drafted on day 3, and Eazy-E. I love these 2, and I really do think these 2 will fight to make the roster, and I would bet Malik Washington absolutely makes the roster. I mean, he was a second-team All-American according to the Associated Press a year ago, set records in the ACC with 110 receptions, 9 touchdowns, 1,400 yards. Malik Washington, even though he's undersized, only at about 5'8" and some change, is an excellent slot option who will fit well in this Mike McDaniel offense. And Taj Washington's got some speed. He's a big play threat for the Trojans a year ago. Can he be that for Miami? These 2 rookies might push the boundaries on Craycraft and Eazy-E to see if they can make the roster, and they might go a little bit younger. But who is going to be that wide receiver 4? That's something I got my eyes on for Dolphins OTA, and it's time for you guys to give your thoughts on the matter. Who is going to be the 4th wide receiver behind OBJ, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle? Braxton Berrios, type BB. If you think it's River Craycraft, type those RCs. Shout out RC. If you think it's Malik Washington, type the MW. If you got a different name, all yours. Type it down below, whoever you think that could be. All right, the next position battle I want to take a look at is right guard. And this isn't just a backup spot or a depth piece. This is actually for the starting right guard position because, well, when you lose Robert Hunt to the Carolina Panthers on a 5-year, $100 million deal, that's going to be tough to fill. And that is the biggest void on this entire roster. You can talk about interior defensive line with Christian Wilkins. You can talk about the safety position, the cornerback room. The right guard spot is the weakest position on a singular basis on the entire roster. You've got 2 good bookend tackles in Austin Jackson and Teron Armstead, with Aaron Brewer coming over from Tennessee at the center, and Isaiah Wynn, who at least has given you serviceable starting experience in the past at left guard. But who starts at the right guard position? Robert Jones is probably the most likely option right now for Miami if the season started this upcoming weekend. But there's going to be 4 guys fighting for that spot. And OTAs are going to be the first spot where we get to take a look at who could really grab a hold of that starting spot. Robert Jones, I think, is going to get the first crack at it. But Jack Driscoll, the free agent from Philadelphia, is going to be an intriguing option. Liam Eichenberg, who's been on this team but has struggled in the past. And Lester Cotton, who has also struggled on this Miami Dolphins roster over the past year or so, is also in contention. There's not a really good options to choose from. If we're going to be blatantly honest, there's not a lot of good options, which is why I've been so adamant in pounding the table on the Dolphins and Chris Grier going out and signing another interior offensive lineman, whether it be Dalton Reisner or whether it be Greg Van Roten. Still praying for GVR. Hopefully he comes and signs after June 1st when the Dolphins get more money with the Xavier Howard deal. But we'll see if these Dolphins offensive linemen on the roster can make an imprint to this front office and really show them maybe we don't need to go sign another offensive lineman after June 1st. All right, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because, well, as I said, OTAs are getting underway the next 2 weeks, and we'll have you covered with winners and losers, biggest takeaways. So make sure you hit that sub button. Make sure you turn on notifications so when we drop videos breaking down real Dolphins practices and football, you don't miss a thing. The battle for safety position number 3 is another intriguing one I got my eyes on because you have two good starters, right? You have Javon Holland. You have Jordan Poyer. But the depth behind those two are not good at all. The top guy is Elijah Campbell, who's coming over from the New York Jets. But the other three guys on your depth chart technically right now is 2 undrafted free agents in Colbert and Mark Perry. And then the 6th rounder you took from Cal and Patrick McMorris. I don't have a lot of confidence in those 3 guys. And I think the biggest key here is, well, is Nick Needham really making the switch from corner to safety? He has not seen the field a lot for Miami in the past couple seasons, and I would be intrigued to see how he does when he transitions over to safety. There's that picture, obviously, with him working out with the other safeties, whether it be Poyer, Campbell, and Javon Holland. So if Needham is able to transition into the safety room and really provide extra depth, that would be obviously ideal. And I do want to make note of this as well. Like, I don't think that Needham switching to safety would really hurt the cornerback room as much. We've talked about this on a show in the past, but Needham would still be able to switch the corner. So if you get an injury to whether it be Jalen Ramsey or Kendall Fuller, you would still have him able to play safety, able to play corner. It would make a lot of sense for Needham to make the switch, and hopefully he does it at a good level. All right, 2 more positions to take a look at, but make sure you are representing the newest Miami Dolphin. Well, I guess it's not the newest anymore with Odell Beckham Jr. signing, but Chop Robinson, the first-round pick out of Penn State. Represent the guy from Penn State and get the first-round picks jersey at chatsports.com/chopjersey. I got mine. Get yours today with that link in the description and comments. One more time, chatsports.com/chopjersey. All right, one of the other battles I'm looking at is inside linebacker position number 4. And just like wide receiver 4, we're getting into the nitty-gritty, but that's why you got to be subscribed to the channel because who else is talking about the 4th position on the depth chart when we're looking at linebackers? But it is an interesting one because you have David Long and Jordan Brooks as your 2 starters. You have Anthony Walker Jr. coming over from Cleveland, who I'm very bullish on and think is going to be a great addition as a 3rd linebacker. But is it going to be Riley Duke? Is it going to be Channing Tindall? That is an interesting thing that we have to look at. And excuse me, that's Duke Riley, by the way. I don't know why I said it backwards. I'm just having that Sunday afternoon fog in the brain, folks. But is this the year for Channing Tindall? That is the biggest question. The former 3rd-round pick, 102nd overall by the Georgia Bulldogs. Is he going to come out and be able to give you meaningful productivity for the Dolphins defense? Duke Riley has been okay as that 3rd guy. He totaled 42 tackles, not the best in coverage. He's just a 3rd linebacker, but obviously getting pushed down the depth chart after signing Anthony Walker Jr., who I think is a better linebacker for this defense and just in general. Well, Duke Riley is in kind of danger of missing this roster, and so is Channing Tindall. So Tindall, like I mentioned, who was that 3rd-round pick, is going to have to prove to to this front office and this coaching staff that he was worthy of a top 105 selection a couple of years ago to make this roster. Because if he does not perform in OTAs, if he does not play well in training camp or in the 3 preseason games for the Miami Dolphins, I do not think Channing Tindall will be on this 53-man roster when we're talking about it in late August, early September. So it is now or never for the former Georgia Bulldog. Let's see what he can do. Let me know your thoughts on the matter. Who is going to be the 4th linebacker for the Dolphins? They will keep a 4th inside linebacker for special teams purposes and depth as well, but let me know who you guys have in this matchup, CT for Tindall or DR for Duke Riley. All right, the last position battle I want to take a look at is defensive tackle spot number 2 because, well, this is rather important. You lost Christian Wilkins in free agency to the Raiders when they signed him to a $110 million deal. Now it's all about who is going to step up and at least give you something. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not asking for you to go out there and be an all-pro. You just need to be okay because Zach Sealer is expected to take that jump from defensive lineman number 2 to the top dog. But will it be Gallimore or TeaIr Tart taking that D-line number 2 position? And the truth is, even though Wilkins is gone, you don't need to replace Christian Wilkins. This is not going to be possible. You just need to mitigate the damage of that spot being vacant that Christian Wilkins left. Sealer did an excellent job a year ago for Miami, and hopefully he is going to be able to do it again. Now, obviously, without pairing him up with Wilkins, I'll be intrigued to see if Sealer can do it on his own, but you see the 2 numbers from Tart and Gallimore. It wasn't pretty. Tart was very good for the Titans before transitioning over to the Houston Texans. Hopefully he can regain that again, and we'll see if him and Gallimore battle it out to be that second interior defensive lineman behind Zach Sealer. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, we will have updates from Dolphins OTAs, so make sure you hit that sub button. I'm Nic Rohloff. We'll make sure you're covered on everything surrounding the Miami Dolphins. I'll see you on the next video. Go Fins.